What's up, everyone? We're doing some racket assembly here. Finally going to put some rubbers on the Hugo Calderano blade in honor of his win at the Pan American Championship in the singles event. I was just looking at the schedule for the teams event, just going on now. Going to be a lot of good matches coming up, so check that out. The Asian teams tournament just finished, and now the European teams tournament is into the elimination round, so recommend that as well. So yeah, we'll get into the assembly. The rubbers are Dignics 09C. They came off my Harimoto blade. I'm going to put them on the HAL blade. That's about that. Let's look at the blade. So this is the XIOM Hugo HAL blade, Hyper XIOM. Pretty cool. Give me a second to set it down somewhere. I like the box. I think the colors are nice. Pretty cool, Hugo HAL. They said it was 86 grams. I'm pretty sure it's 87, but I didn't specifically request any weight, so whatever. I sealed it myself with this Jula varnish. Got this recently. Did a few other blades with this, so I did that on the blade face. I didn't mess with the handle. I'm not going to. Decided it wasn't worth it, so yeah, Jula varnish. Got off Amazon. Pretty simple process. You just put it on the blade, let it dry. You could do more if you want, but I only did one layer. I didn't want to change the characteristics of the blade too much, but the varnish is to protect the blades from the water-based glue. There's a lot of liquid in here, a lot of moisture. So over time it gets absorbed into the wood. This keeps that from happening, at least as much, and also it protects it when you're peeling off the rubber from delaminating. So that's that. Today we're going to use the Revolution 3 glue. I'm very close to being out, so I definitely need to order some more sometime. But at the moment, I think I've got enough. Right, so feel free to say hi if you're watching. Let me know if you assemble your own racket, what you like, what you play with, if you play table tennis, whatever. I'm gonna weigh a couple things real quick, just for our purposes. My purposes, yours, not sure. All right. All right, so here's the blade. Like I said, they said it was 85.8, but I'm pretty sure last time I weighed it, it was like 87. 86.61 grams. All right, so we'll put it on the yellow one. All right, so that's the weight of the blade. Yeah, there's a little bit of air moving around, but we're gonna call it 86.6. I left the one there for whatever reason. Yeah. All right. Can weigh one of these. Well, we'll weigh both the rubbers. So these are Dignics 09C. Like I said, they came off my Harimoto blade. Actually, I'll show you something here. Look, this is why I like Dignics 09C. This all had glue all in the sponge from when I used it, but I sat there and peeled all the glue out, and then look at the sponge now. It's pretty, I mean, there's a few little, let's call them divots here and there, but really that almost looks like a new sponge. So that's got 3 months of use already on the blade, and then I took that off. Oh, I was supposed to weigh it. All right, so this is the red rubber. Let's weigh it. It's kind of flimsy. I don't know if I can get it to weigh very well. Get this. And something flat. That's better. Sorry. I know this isn't like the most exciting, but sometimes people enjoy it. All right, 48.35. This is just for my own purposes. I already said that, didn't I? But it's because like in the future I want to see how much the rubbers weigh and cut on different blades, how much my blade's gonna weigh, because maybe that'll matter to me eventually. At the moment, it doesn't really matter to me. My racket's kind of heavy at the moment, and I don't mind it. Although I was thinking about switching to 1.9 millimeter instead of 2.1, but it's for another discussion. I'm using these for, well, I'm using my setup for the rest of the year, no changes. This is just for fun. $48.96. Did I mention these numbers are just for my purposes? Yes. Just kidding. It's enough. All right. So there's that. Sorry. And you're welcome. All right. Let me just weigh my other one real quick. Always nice to know. All right. What's your guess for this racket? I know the weight of this one, I think. What do you think? Oh, the scale's kind of out of the picture. Sorry. Oops. Don't do that. Don't move the scale while it's on. All right, I'm pretty sure this one weighs 187 grams. Oh, I almost said that too. 188.81. I forgot. Okay. Probably changes every once in a while. That's why I weigh it too, because what about moisture and things like that? This is my Harimoto. All right. 188.7.8. That's just to give us an idea for comparing once we do this the eventual racket assembly, right? I promise I'll get to it eventually, but I make no other promises. Now that I've got these numbers for my purposes, let me go get a calculator. Just out of curiosity, so we got 86. 184 grams. Okay, that's all right. Then you gotta add glue and side tape too. So similar weight. And then you can say, okay, well, the two rackets are the same weight. Do they have the same exact feel? But maybe one has more weight distributed to the head if it's like a bigger head face with heavy rubbers, or one more to the handle or middle if it has a very chunky handle. All right, so the Harimoto's gone. Doesn't have anything to do here. Don't want to accidentally start taking rubbers off that thing or anything like that. All right. Moving along, very slowly. All right. First of all, let's look at the blade one more time before we put these rubbers on there. It's a XIOM Hyper-Exilium Hugo HAL. It's an outer fiber blade, but it's not carbon. It's Hyper-Exilium. I still don't really know. I don't know where they find Hyper-Exilium. Right, but they found it. This is technically the second production run of these blades. They made them for a while, then they discontinued them. Then Hugo won a World Cup with this blade, and they needed to make some more because people wanted them. So I got one because I like watching Hugo play. It sounds like a good blade. The reviews of the old one were always really positive. I know, I should have put glue on already on something, right? I'm going to do the forehand first, so we'll do this one first. Let's see, I got a little bit of something on this rubber while I was messing around. Okay. Yeah, like I said, take care of your glue bottle because it's a lot easier to do proper gluing if you don't have chunky old glue everywhere. That's my fault. Not running a tight ship around here lately. And also I have this sponge cut like this, but I'm not sure it's gonna work that well. So we'll see. I'm only gonna do one layer of glue. How about that? On the sponge. And one on the blade. For each side. Because one, Dignics 09C is kind of heavy, so I don't want to add a lot of extra weight by filling up the sponge with lots of glue. And two, I don't plan on keeping these rubbers on this blade forever. I want to try this blade first with Dignics 09C because that's what I've been using now for at least 6 months straight. And I'll be able to make a good comparison between the blades in my mind, body and soul. And then once that process is complete, I'll put some other rubbers on it too once these wear out or something like that. I actually ordered a couple new rubbers specifically for that purpose because I wanted to try them. Andro Newson 55 and Donic Blue Grip J1. They're both 55-degree rubbers. I mean, with grip, but I don't think they got quite as much tack as an 09C, but they're like slightly different variations of the 09C, and that's what I like playing with, so I just want to test them out. They're not too bad price-wise. All right, and that's ready. Let that dry. Put some on here. This will dry quicker. You can see the glue's running out. Let me know if you have any questions. Sorry, I know, probably boring. Sometimes I take a risk doing these streams, alienating viewers, but I appreciate it if you're here listening, watching. It's hard to eyeball how much glue you're putting out when you have to pour it like that. I don't recommend it. Not recommended. So yeah, like I said, I sealed this blade So maybe I'll put 2 layers of glue on the blade actually for this first time, because when you seal a blade, sometimes the rubber doesn't stick down as well. There's not as good of a, I don't know, adhesion, general stickiness altogether, something like that. So maybe I'll use just a little extra glue on the blade today to kind of season it like a cast iron pan. I think okay, there we go. Anyway, so that's 1 layer. That's gonna dry pretty quick, so actually I think I'll do that, but we'll see. If this dries quickly, to the point that this is still looking not so dry, then I'll do 1 more, because I wanna make sure it works out well. And then also, one thing when you're putting old rubbers from a different racket onto another one, you need to lay it on the, you take your old rubber from the other racket and stick it on this one to kind of see how it lines up, right? Because maybe you have to move it up just a little bit. Maybe you know you have plenty, maybe the new racket's smaller, right? So you know it's gonna work. So you just get it on there and then you cut. But maybe it's smaller. So if it's shorter, you have to decide, are you gonna move it up a little bit and then have a little bit of gap near the handle, or are you gonna move it down? Mostly towards the handle so it feels more normal on your thumb, but then you'll have a gap up here where you might catch some edge balls. It all depends kind of how long you're gonna play with the rubbers, if they don't fit that well, right? The worse they fit, the less like serious the setup will be, but it happens. Sometimes you play for a few months with a setup with the rubbers kind of offset because you want to try them out on different blades. That's why I always say, like, it's good to learn how to assemble your own rackets, because then you can move rubbers around from blade to blade and try them out. So that's why, like, you know, you could try the 09C on 3 different blades and get a feel for the rubber on those different blades, and also a feel for those blades by using the same rubber. Anyway, that's my story. So we gotta let the glue dry, and that's pretty much our whole to-do list. Let the glue dry. Okay, let's write that down. So you can see we're letting the glue dry. This one's gonna go on first, and then the other one's gonna go on second. If I was doing 2 layers, I could potentially do 1 layer here, wait, and then you do the second layer and the first layer, and then you could start that one, thinking the timing is gonna be that when you put the second layer dry on here, then you can put the second layer of glue on there and wait for it to dry. I hope you were taking notes, I guess. That's all I can say. So not repeating. Anyway, it's a Dignics 09C rubber going on a Hugo HAL blade with Jewel of Varnish, Revolution 3 glue. These are the weights for my purposes. And I'm not repeating that again. So if you're watching, let me know any questions you have about table tennis equipment, racket assembly. You can tell me to hurry up. I won't listen, but you could tell me. I wouldn't mind. It'd be kind of funny if you told me to hurry up, because it takes a while. So, you know, someone needs to light a fire. Snaps there. So Hugo Calderano won the Pan American Championship singles yesterday, beating Rakza in the finals. Pretty sure it was 4-1 in games. Last 3 games were close. They went to 9-9 each time, but Hugo was just too much. Similarly, Adriana Diaz won the women's singles, beating Bruna, and they were close games too at times, but Adriana always closed them out. I think it might have been 4-1 also, but it was very decisive end result, but very well contested games and awesome exchanges, a lot of high level stuff. Certainly the best matchups you could hope for in a Pan American Championship. Not much else to say there. Adriana's always been the queen of the Pan American region, and then Bruna's got the highest world ranking at the moment and has moved her way up and has had more international success lately in terms of just like consistent finishes further into tournaments. And then Hugo, of course, not much more needs to be said. He won the World Cup, he got second in the World Championships. He won the Brazilian WTT, I think. Possibly the Argentina one that was there also. So, good stuff. Yeah, Lavaca, actually, this one's mine. I'm proud of this one. This is my Hugo blade. But I like my Harimoto so much, so I'm not like actually going to play with this one that much. I'll still stick with my Harimoto. But this one's all mine. This is my Hugo HAL. I got this one when they had the second production run because when he first won the World Cup and all the blades were sold out and he was discontinued, I was really bummed out. So once they announced they were giving more blades out, I got one. And I haven't played with it yet or anything. I just sealed it, set it aside, was waiting. But now Hugo won the Pan Am Championships and pretty happy with how I'm playing lately. So I figured, okay, it's a good time to put these rubbers on here, try them out. Don't say it too loud. My Harimoto blade is listening. I don't want to make it feel bad. I like my Harimoto. Really, I have Viscaria. So that was what I played with before the Harimoto for a couple years. I have my Harimoto, and now I have this. And those will be my blades. And I'll try every once in a while different ones, but I plan to just play the Harimoto and the 09C for the most part. I don't see any reason to change it. I like it too much. Okay, so I forgot about my plan to put 2 layers on this one, but that's okay because this one dried pretty quick. So the timing wouldn't have worked out anyway. You could put an extra layer, actually. But I don't want to make everyone wait. And like I said, I don't plan to leave these on forever on this blade. If anything, I would use this on my other Harimoto again once the other rubbers wear out. I kind of just keep the 09Cs rotating there from the newest on my main blade to the older ones on a backup blade. Because I play with them about 3 months at a time, and then I take them off, and then I can put them on the old blades. Oh, cool. Yeah, find a place. What blade do you use, Young God, as far as the XIOM blade? Which one? I've actually never played with a XIOM blade before. This is my first one, so that's why I'm excited about it too. It was always, I don't know, something about this one I just like. It's got the blue on the handle, the H. It looks good. And Hugo's so much fun to watch. I like watching him play with it, so it feels like just a blade I wanted. All right, let's put this one in. Let's do a good job. So when I measured it out, technically I don't really have to move it up, and it'll be a little bit short up top, where I can move it up a little bit and it'll fit pretty much perfectly. The risk is if you move it up a little bit and then you're off center, you risk kind of having it going in one direction a little more than the other, which isn't good. But I'm going to move it up like half a smidgen. That's the technical term. All right. ALXI. Okay, yeah, that one's popular too. People have been asking about that, I've heard. Yeah, it's discontinued, so people are stocking up on it before it went out of set. Yeah. Once it went discontinued, and similar with this, right? People like this one too. So yeah, I think XIOM has a good thing going. This has got a nice handle on it, good size to it. I play anatomic handle on that Harimoto, but this one's a flared. I could have even tried it straight, I think, but I like this. All right, let's go. Yeah, this rubber's a little bit small for the blade, so we'll figure it out. I'm just going to put it really close to the handle. Okay, I didn't even have to lift it at all. This one, I could have left it down, but it's all right. So my hope is, like I said, that this will stick all on there because I sealed the blade, and this is the first time putting rubbers on the newly sealed blade. So if anything goes wrong, I'll just re-glue them again, not a big deal. But yeah, I didn't have to leave that little bit of gap, I guess, but I did. Anyway, looks pretty good. Feels good there. Not bad. Yeah, thanks. So, like I said, I should do a better job mentally of take note when I put the rubber on the blade to test it out first as far as how it fits, because here, I thought I need to lift, I'm pretty sure I have to lift this one up just a little bit. I'm gonna do the same with that one. So I think the other one's gonna fit like just right when I lift it up, but this one I didn't really have to lift it. I could have just left it and mostly covered it, but no big deal. Pretty good. All right, so now we go like that. All right, let's get the glue on this one so it starts drying. Sure, we all have places to be, right? I'll cut that one before well, I don't know if I'm gonna cut it, because I kind of want to be able to use it on other stuff. I'll figure that out. So yeah, same idea. I'm only using one layer of glue, so I put a good amount on there. That's always the trade-off, right? If you do more layers, then you can be just less per layer, I guess, unless you put tons of glue. I don't know. That's why I've started weighing the Racket some, because I'm curious how much weight the gluing process adds. Make sure I'm not overdoing it in some way. But yeah, we got the Revolution 3 glue going today. Like I say, always like that, because I know I'm not under like a time crunch while I do this little part of spreading it around evenly. The Revolution 3 won't let me down. But you gotta make sure you get it over. All right. This is that point where I can just stop. Hello, Harry. How's it going? What's up, Wang Lin? Shout out. Wax paper. Oh, okay, that's a good idea. So yeah, Harry, Wang Lin, you guys ever assemble brackets? Guys, gals, whoever's out there, let me know if you ever assemble rackets. That's pretty good. What am I gonna do? Am I gonna leave that or am I gonna cut it? I think I'm gonna leave it, because no, I gotta cut it. Yeah, cut it. Why not? Not gonna reuse it. Well, I could reuse it, but just leave the 09C on here for a little while. Looks good. So that's good for now. Well, I'll test this racket out this weekend, kind of interchanging with my Harimoto and this. That feels good. It's gonna be nice. But yeah, just play for fun for a bit with this, and then keep it mostly stored tightly away for special occasions. It sounds silly, doesn't it? I'll probably play with it as much as I feel like, I don't know, once it's assembled. But I like my Harimoto a lot. Hey Harry, how's it going? My normal setup, here, let me spread this and I'll tell you. My normal setup, or I'll show you. Harimoto Super ALC, so the butterfly blade. It's Interforce with the Super ALC, rather than the traditional Harimoto, which is the normal Interforce ALC. And then I have Dignics 09C on both sides of my racket, 2.1. Although I recently was considering going to 1.9 to make my racket lighter overall and make it a little easier to control some shots, but I decided, no, I'll just get stronger in general to deal with the heavier weight, and I'll get better at table tennis to deal with the tougher to control shots, but I want that extra potential, let's say, in that sponge. The Spring Sponge X. I don't go anywhere without it, you know. Anyway. Same idea here, since I'm not, well, doesn't matter. You don't always have to glue all the way down if you're not going to go all the way down. But what's up, Eric? How's it going? 210 grams or more? Wow, that's pretty heavy. Yeah, I would I mean, I guess you can get used to it if you're strong. It's good and give some power away from the table. Let's see what I got. Okay, what's up, Eric? So Harry, here's my racket. It's the Butterfly Harimoto Super ALC and then Dignics and INC both sides. I whacked it on the table pretty good today, so I'm gonna have to deal with that. Didn't mean to. Anyway, there it is. 09C both sides. It's very beautiful. DHS Hurricane King. Nice. I got a Viscaria. Yeah, I might go back to it one day. But I like my Inner Force at the moment. What's the Hurricane King like? I don't know so much about that one. Anyone know? Yeah, I think I tried to push like a half long ball near the baseline and I caught the edge of the table or something. Something like this maybe. I'm not sure exactly though. I just noticed it when I got home. I didn't actually remember it happening, so it could have been anything. But that's the only thing that makes sense. Or maybe I caught it on the edge with a serve, trying to serve like close to the edge of the table. I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, the O-Drop Inner Force, people like it pretty fast. And then the T-Mobile. Yeah, I mean, they're all good blades. It just depends. I found that I like that Inner Force construction now for the time being because I can spin a little more, I can hold the ball a little more versus the Viscaria. But I could also see one day going back if I started playing kind of more fast-paced, earlier timing, hitting game. But my Super ALC I like because I can spin with it pretty well now, and on my big shots I'm starting to control it well and power up good. Okay, but it's an inner carbon also, like the Ma Long blade, I'm guessing. Lavaki, what's your racket? You said it weighs 210 grams. What do you play with? Oh yeah, so Harry, it's 1:30 a.m. You're watching Glue, very good. Yeah, right now. I mean, it happens, right? Sometimes I'm on here gluing really late. Today I got started earlier. I guess I was excited to get this done. So yeah, I want to get this going so I can play with it a little bit this weekend, test it out. Or actually, I mean, I have the return boards. I could use those a little bit. I haven't set up a stream to do that. Oh, cool. Okay, tell me about the Zyro 3. I've been asking people about it. They got to play it. I've been reading about it. I'm going to get to try it out this weekend on a friend's blade. I'm excited for it. So let me know, what do you think, Harry, about the Zyro 3? What's it like? Okay, cool. Yeah, okay, the Loki Lang Jun-kun blade, cool. I got those other Loki blades, but it's nothing like that, especially not a player edition. That's neat. I don't know too much about his blade either, but is that also an inner carbon blade, like the Ma Long and the Wang Chuchin blade? Zyro 3. I'm definitely going to try out the Zyro 3 soon. I think as an 09C person, it's not as big a thing for me because it's not quite as tacky and it makes certain things harder, but you never know. Maybe one day. For now, I like my 09C, and like I said, I got those 2 new hybrid rubbers coming to try eventually, just because I always heard good things about the Andro Nuzin 55, and I've been excited to try that Donic Blue Grip J1 that Jongjika came out with. I just want to try them, so I'll probably put them on this blade, actually, if I decide that, you know, I want to have a full-time set with that, or I'll try it on one of the other blades first. We'll see. Hurricane 3 National Neo 42, okay, 2.1, H8A, okay, awesome, that's a great setup. And then for the Zyro, extremely quick, needs some getting used to as the ball lands a lot deeper on the table, so it needs adjustment. Okay, for sure. Well, that's cool. Sounds like some good setups out there. You guys got some good stuff going. I'm definitely happy with mine. That's why I waited so long, partly because I want to like confuse my mind, start playing with the HAL, start thinking, oh, should I use this, should I use that? But right now I'm like very solid in the Harimoto camp, and I've been playing well, so here's my reward. Putting some rubbers on the HAL and hitting with it. Okay, yeah. It's a lot of booster too. That's good. The National White. I have that National Yellow. I've tried that some. That's what I've been using on the older rubbers and on those cheap low-key Chinese rubbers. I put 1 layer of that on each one before putting on the blade so that they would have more pop to them for people playing on the racket. So I've been doing that. That's a good booster. I like the 09C because I don't have to boost, but I like the fact that I can boost the old sheets and put them on other things and it plays pretty well. Maybe one day I'll try to boost the new sheet, but it just hasn't felt right to buy a new sheet 09C and boost it. It just seems like, why would I buy it and do that? But yeah. Okay, that's good to know about the layers. Tacky Zyro, I'm not sure. There was something they were talking about before, like a Zeed, but I'm not sure it's still in development. But yeah, I think at some point they're going to come up with another tacky rubber or an 09C with more speed to it, but still keep that top sheet. It wouldn't be that hard. Yeah. I've had people recommend it to me. I've tried it some. And like I said, I put it on the old sheets. Then whenever I put them on different blades and try them out, people always like it. It always feels good when I hit around with it a little bit. I just haven't played with it much. And on my main setup, I don't like the idea that, okay, when you boost it, you kind of have a little more of like an up and down period with the rubber where it's really, really good, and then it starts to fade a little more, whereas I kind of like just the more constant, unboosted. And for me, 09C feels good. I don't need it like more lively or anything for the time being. Maybe in the future. It gives me something to work towards. Okay, cool. So what's up, Blem Flark? We're talking about right now Haifu, Sea Moon, National boosters. I have a bottle around here I can show you. So this is the Sea Moon National. Lavakia was talking about the white one also. This is the yellow. It's almost out. So I put this on the cheap Chinese rubbers when I buy them, and then can use them on old blades to liven up. So you can see this one's basically done. That's the National Yellow. I've just been doing one layer on those things, but I tested out with Hurricane before with more layers, of course. But that was the kind of thing. I didn't really want to be boosting my own stuff. I didn't want to have to deal with that, so that's why I'm not right now using it. But for like, I bought those $5 rubbers from AliExpress, the low-key, and put this on one layer, and they work pretty well. So that's neat. And I have another bottle for the future. So you can take like a $10 Chinese rubber, put some booster on it, and it can become a pretty usable rubber because they have durable, they have a nice durable top sheet with good tack usually, and a hard sponge that becomes pretty elastic once you boost it. So you can put together setups with some good power to them. Let's say with the booster, you can kind of turn a basic, cheaper setup into something special. So a lot of good options there. Yeah, 42 is very hard, so you would definitely need to boost that. Yeah, and if you change a lot, then it makes sense, and if you like the process. I'm just not as big on the booster. Okay, yeah. Like I said, I like to use it to bring the rubbers back to life, but I've definitely played with 09Cs that were boosted that felt good, and maybe in the future I'll do it. I just don't want to deal with it. All right, I like the idea that I can play about 3 months with my 09Cs on the Harimotos without having to do anything besides gluing them that first time. All right, so like I said, I'm going to put this one up just a little bit because it'll match that other rubber a little bit. I don't want it to be too offset, but I'm not going to put it up much at all because I think it'll basically reach based on what we saw just a bit ago. Let's see. Try to get myself lined up. Looks pretty good. Yeah, fit. So not too much overlap on this one either, but I'll cut just that little excess. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. If you know how to assemble rackets, you can move rubbers from one blade to another. You can save them, you can reuse them, you can boost them. It gives you a lot of options, so that's why I always recommend learning how to assemble your rackets. That's why I like doing these assembly streams, to show you it's not such a daunting task. If anyone has questions about it, you can always ask in the chat. Bring it up, I do my best, I don't know everything. What's a common setup in the US? Peter Corbell's a really common blade I see if I apply, like an offensive one, so it's pretty quick, not as slow as some all-around ones. And then Rosanna on both sides for more like beginner, intermediate. Well, not beginner, but like advanced beginner or intermediate. But then Tenergy or Dignics, and then moving to inner carbon blades, for example. And probably, a lot of pips players, right? Depending where you live, depending on kind of the player population, a lot of players with long pips on one side. Things like that. So it just depends. But Tenergy is popular. Butterfly stuff's popular in general, for sure. Nothing else comes close, really. And Takuji on rubbers, yeah. definitely acoustic's popular. And G1's popular for sure. I think G1's supposed to be like the most popular rubber in Japan or something. I forget. Or maybe like with some caveat, but still. Anyway, this turned out pretty good. For some reason in my head, I wasn't so happy about one little thing, but I forgot what it was, so we're just not going to try and think of it. We're just going to be happy about it. Anyway, I'm pretty sure this is going to be pretty awesome, and that's more or less the assembly stream for today, everyone. So if you got things to do, what's up? What's up, Enzen? You got the Tomokazu Harimoto ALC, heck yes. Hurricane 3 Nacional Blue Sponge. Okay, that's muy especial. And the Dignics on AC backhand, very good choice. And you got the T-Bar and Donic over there in the UK. Yeah, good stuff. Maybe you get it from Dan Doy Sports or something. What is it? That name sounds funny to me. Or Brybar. Is that where Craig Bryant? He's sponsored by them, right? I like the service guy. I like learning about the serves from him. Try and get this cut a little bit. Sometimes it's hard when the rubber is actually like just barely off the blade to get started. It's actually easier if you have a little more overhang as opposed to just almost getting it. So something to keep in mind. Do your best. That's all you can do. Simply the best. Oh. There we go. All right. Pretty good. Looking good. All right, let's weigh it real quick. And then we're out of here. Places, people, places. In Brazil, it's, oh, Nacional? Yeah. Follow Portuguese. Now, I tried the T-Mobile. I've tried the T-Mobile ALC. I played with Viscaria for a while. It's very similar. All good, instant. Yeah. So, I mean, I like the inner force because you have a little more hole with the bar. The ball spins a little easier. But the outer force, or like the T-Mobile ALC Viscaria, the ball shoots off quick, so it's good for real fast-paced exchanges. And sending the ball back and forth. Which is what the game's about a lot of times. All right, any guesses? Any guesses? What did we... I forgot. I had those calculations somewhere. What was it, like 184 was the expectation? $184 and change. Let's see. So real quick, what do we think? 184 was the expectation based on the weights that were, now you see, for our purposes, not just my own. I'm going to go with, drum roll please, 184.8 grams. Okay, well, 182. That's good. It's light. So for everyone's purposes, 182 grams, my HAL. HAL with DO9C, both sides. So there we go. Pretty good. Looking good. Get ready to play with it this weekend. Check out the streams to see. Yeah, 182. Good guesses. Oh, I didn't even see you guys were all guessing. I should have looked. I didn't really anticipate all the guesses. Yeah, 186. That's a good guess. We got 182, 190, 186. Enzen. Okay, got him with the second one. Yeah, nice. Very good. All right, so good guess. Good guesses, everyone. Great guess. Enzen. And let's hope this racket plays well. Let's see. I don't usually I don't hit a ball on it right away usually, but I will. Let me get one. We got a sand like ball. Okay. So we'll see. What's up, Enzo? Okay, Enzo. Well, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you watching the stream. What do you think about the Hugo blade? Right? Pretty cool, huh? As a Brazilian, I suppose you can really appreciate it. The legendary status. Kind of hard to tell. It's not so tacky. I mean, it's a good rubber still, but you can see it. It hit on the bottom of the table. That's why it's bouncing around. Let's see. So not crazy, but this is a 3-month-old rubber already. I played with. You can see the discoloration, so it's pretty good, I think. All right. Anyway, yeah, but it's already like 3 months old. That's why I'm saying it's not like it's got good grip. That's why I like the 09C because the grip sticks around. But I've played with this one quite a bit already, so it's not like a new sheet. But it's good. That's why I like the 09C so much. You can take it off a blade that you're using a lot. You put on old blade, make a new racket out of it, right? The return board. Yeah, I don't really have it set up properly right now, but I'll do that sometime. So, okay. I've always been waiting. I always mention in the streams, I go, I'll do it if anyone wants to see it, but no one ever says anything. So you say you want to see me hit it with the return board sometime. I will. Not right now, but I will. All right. So that was the quick assembly stream for the night, everyone. Thanks so much for chatting with me. Shout out Enzen. Shout out Levake. Shout out Eric. Shout out Harry. Shout out Wang Lin. Shout out to Young God. And okay, that's everyone. So shout out to Levake for being the first one to say hey. Shout out to everyone for talking with us, making good guesses. I'll get things set up to do the return board sometime on stream and maybe a robot or something. But yeah, I'll test this out this weekend playing at the club. So thank you all. See you all. Okay, awesome, Enzen. Muito legal. Até a próxima. Ciao.